Corrina Gould is the spokesperson for the Confederated Villages of Lisjan. Born and raised in her ancestral homeland, the Ohlone territory of Huichin, Corrina's activism began more than 2 decades ago when she led shell mound walks to protect ancestral village sites and burials around the shores of San Francisco Bay.
We walked, right? 18 miles a day for 3 weeks, 300 miles almost, completing this walk. But what we did was we stopped at these shell mounds, right? There was 425 of them that ringed the Bay Area. We stopped at these shell mounds and we offered prayers at these places that were the monuments of my ancestors. And as we began to remember the ancestors, we asked that they remembered us. It began to wake up something in the land again by offering those prayers at these special places that have been here since time immemorial, really. And nobody knew what shell mounds were at that time. In 2005, nobody in the Bay Area, what's a shell mound? Nobody knew.
So Corrina set out to educate the public about her culture and to protect the remaining sacred sites and burials. As an effective activist, organizer, and messenger, she partnered with animator Adrian Baker to tell the story of these historic sites.
The big Emeryville project, where it's on top of one of the largest shell mounds in the Bay Area. It was 600 feet in diameter, 30 feet high. It was on an 1859 survey map. As people were coming into the Bay Area, it was a point of reference. So it was a huge shell mound, and they decided that they wanted to bring commerce into Emeryville. And by doing that, they were going to build this mall. We asked them to clean it up and to leave it as it is, leave it as a sanctuary for Native people, for Ohlone people, talk about the history. They decided no, that's not what they wanted to do. And pretty soon they were pulling up hundreds of bodies. And so what they decided to do was to put that horrible little tiny mound with the metal basket on it, and that's supposed to represent thousands of years of my ancestors.
Disappointed by the city of Emeryville and the Bay Street Mall developers, Corrina began leading yearly protests on Black Friday to let shoppers know they are in a cemetery. In 2011, after prolonged but futile negotiations with the city of Vallejo to protect the Sigorate village and shell mound, Corrina and her allies occupied the 3,500-year-old Karkin Ohlone site for 109 days, until they achieved an agreement in writing to preserve Sigorate.
When we were there in this encampment for 109 days, I made this relationship and it changed my DNA when we were there. And I know that. My children will say, you came back a different person. You are not the same mom that left. And so when I was there, I asked a special prayer inside of that fire that was going for a long time. But I also am able to hear things that are on that land. And I can see things with my eyes that you can't see with your regular eyes. You can see the tule boats coming in. You can hear the children laughter at Sigorate if you sit on that beach and you open up your heart and your mind to that spiritual realm.
With her longtime friend and colleague Janella LaRose, Corrina founded the Sigorate Land Trust in 2015 to rematriate the land back to the Ohlone people. To this day, they've secured several acres and are cultivating native plants and medicines.
This is the time for Indigenous women's leadership to step forward again, that the matriarchs need to come forward and to do that work to bring balance back into the earth. And that's really the work that we do around rematriation. It's around really bringing people back to where they belong, reimagining the world again, taking away patriarchy and white supremacy and the work that has undone a lot of our traditional ways and bringing that back. Because women have those songs for the land. Women have the songs for the water. Women have songs for the plants and our medicines and our babies. And we need to disrupt this colonization that's happened over the last few hundred years.
Then, 5 years ago, Corrina learned of yet another sacred cultural site threatened by development, the West Berkeley Shell Mound and Village, the oldest Ohlone settlement along the bay. Now she is partnering with animator Chris Walker to educate people and protect the site.
The city of Berkeley started on the shores of what we now call the San Francisco Bay. Before the university, before California cuisine, before landfills and parking lots, my people settled here in Huichin. More than 5,000 years ago, my Ohlone ancestors built the first fishing village on the bay. At the heart of it was a freshwater creek and 2 massive shell mounds. Archaeologists officially recorded a boundary for the site in 2003, making it eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. After the gold rush, the Spanger family built a restaurant, and Strawberry Creek flowed right through their grotto. The shell mounds were scraped away to fertilize farm fields and pave city streets. In 1907, the site was studied and mapped by archaeologist Nels Nelson. It was landmarked by the city of Berkeley in 2000. Today, the heart of our ancient village is threatened by a 5-story retail and condo project. But we have a different vision for the best use of this land: a green space and a cultural park. In this one area left unbuilt, a 2.2-acre parking lot known as 1900 4th Street, my people still go to remember our ancestors with prayer and ceremony.
Grandmothers and grandfathers, Creator, we ask that you be here with us today. We ask that you go into our hearts. We continue to ask for prayers for protection.
West Berkeley Shell Mound has done this amazing thing. All of these people from all walks of life are coming together to try to preserve and protect it. People from all walks of life come there and pray together now, in ceremony and song, and bring their own ceremonies there. It's become a place where people understand their connection to this land and what their relationship should be with the first people of this land. And we're giving people an opportunity not to push people outside, but to bring people inside and to try to figure this out together. We're creating something way bigger than ourselves. This imagining this place of opening a creek again where water should always flow free, for us to be able to open it up and to sing to that water again in the way it should be sung to. To allow children to laugh and play in water like that is good for the water, and it's good for human beings. Water's alive. To allow us to put our feet on the ground and to dance the way we were supposed to dance is an amazing thing. For 200 years, we haven't been able to do that in our own territory. To create a mound that's possible, a mound that is either the one that we imagine now, or to recreate a shell mound so that people could actually see what these were like. To find a place to reinter our ancestors. To give dignity back to those ancestors, but also to the people that are living today. And not just the Ohlone people, but it gives dignity back to everyone that lives in our territory now. And I think that's the importance of doing this work, the importance of a new vision that's there, that we can bring people to. Where do you take people that come here, people from all over the world, and talk about who the Ohlone people are? And there is not one place to do that. Berkeley could be the first place. And I think that people are putting strong prayers down there that Berkeley will be that first place, and that we want to help Berkeley be that place. It was the first place my ancestors put that village, and so it should be the first place that stands up for those ancestors as well.
For her lifelong commitment to preserving the culture and sacred sites of the Ohlone people, and for her activism and leadership among California Indians and beyond, the 2021 Heyday Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Corrina Gould.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to thank Heyday Books first and foremost for this great honor and privilege to receive this award. And I think about all of the multiple people that are doing work all over the world, and I feel like I'm a younger person to have a Lifetime Achievement Award. But I really want to thank Heyday and for the work that they've done
for many, many years of bringing the voices of California Native people to the forefront to talk about the struggles and the immense work that happens in our communities. And and really Malcolm Margolin, when he came to our territory and wrote the book of the Ohlone Way, it really put us back on the map, that we were still a people, that we were here, that we had this lifetime histories of being here for thousands and thousands of years. And then using that work really just catapulted the work that we had to do here. I am just honored to be here on behalf of my ancestors and behalf of the next generation. I feel like that this time in our lives is important. As we live in the Bay Area, our territory is completely covered with asphalt and buildings. And almost every day there's something that comes up about our ancestors being removed again. It's a heart wound. It's a soul wound that happens. And that's why I do the work that I do. I do the work that I do so that we still exist, so that my grandchildren have a place in the lands that we were given to take care of for thousands and thousands of years. A place where our cosmology is, a place where we have histories that go way before colonization. I really want to thank you all for being here and for seeing me acknowledge this award that I'm getting. That this work that I'm doing actually doesn't just uplift the work of the Confederated Villages of Lisjan, but the work that I do actually highlights all of the Ohlone people that are doing work all over our territories. It gives us a voice to say that we are still here, that our culture exists, that our ancestors are still in our lands, that they must come home from these institutions, and that we have the right and the ability to speak on behalf of them, but also on behalf of the next 7 generations. I am honored and privileged to be partnered with Indigenous leaders all over the world that do the work of the sacred. And for me, in this lifetime, I am so blessed to see miracles happening every single day in our territory. Our ancestors having a voice, our young people learning their songs and their languages again, people coming back and asking about whose land they stand on. And so I really want to thank Heyday Books for this great honor of being here with all of you tonight and accepting this award on behalf of my ancestors and the next 7 generations.